All right, what's happening, everybody? I am here. It is me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington. Thank you all for rocking with me with this, the finale for Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, man. I appreciate y'all so much for rocking with me. It's been a thing. It has been a thing for real. Shouts out to everybody that's going to be in the chat room right now. Everybody that's watching. Everybody that's rocking with me. It says we're connecting. We should be here. Like, what are we waiting on? Let's see. Let me make sure we got everything going like I should have it going. Okay, so it says we're live. Can you guys hear me? Just make sure. Let me know you guys can hear me. Ah, there it goes. There goes the screen. It's popping up now. Okay. So let me pop this thing out. I don't want to watch this. I want to make sure I am focused on y'all. Let me do that. Let me pop out the chat. Bam. Let me make that its own window. Cool. This was crazy. This is crazy. First of all, thank you everybody who's been rocking with me for all 5 episodes of this. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you all who decided to rock with me and watch this after show. When I decided to do it initially after episodes 1, 2, and 3, I was like, yo, I don't know if anybody's going to watch this, if anybody's going to follow along with me. I know people who rock with your boy from the Mad Titan podcast, which I thank everybody for rocking with me there. People who have heard the leaks I've given throughout the episodes, the spoilers I told you all were going to happen that came to fruition. And for everybody to be with me with this one and people to hit me up all day and say, yo, are you still going to do the after show today? Are you going to do the after show? Are you going to do the after show? And I was like, yes, just let me get a chance to set it up and I'm going to do it. And here we are and it is happening. So thank you guys all for rocking with me. Let's just get right into it. Let's just talk right into it. I'm gonna go right to what everybody wants to talk about, which is right here. Let's talk about this. The crossover. I want you all to know how hard it was to hold this as a secret. I knew this was happening for over a month. I was one of about maybe 25 to 30 people who were privy to finding this out. Thank you to Mark Guggenheim for entrusting me with this. And I got to see what a lot of the cast and not even some of the cast members as well as the crew from these shows. And to see this, I was like, yo, they're really bringing Ezra Miller in. That is why we started getting all of the news stories about the Flash movie going forward. Like, everybody kept being like, well, we keep hearing this, we keep hearing that. It may not happen, it may not happen. I knew it was going to happen because I had seen that. So then I knew that's why they were pushing the news for it, because it was like, yo, the two have to come together. And so that cameo, looking at people's reactions that hit me up on Twitter, were the greatest. And shouts out to the homie Lamont McGee. We text each other. You saw on Twitter, I put it up, the text. We wanted like, yo, I want to see people's reaction videos for seeing that Grant and Ezra cameo, because no one had any idea that was going to happen. And when we saw it, we were feeling the same way. The Arrow episode was dope. I like the way it did it. Of course, that's where you got the cameo. Again, remember, each episode of this crossover still has the theme to its individual show. So you had the Supergirl episode, the Batwoman episode, the Flash, Arrow, and Legends, and all kept to their themes. I'm not going to go episode by episode. We can talk about it all collectively. But to have Oliver be the Spectre, and I will admit when I'm wrong. I thought they were not going to use Stephen Amell anymore, but I guess this was the way you finally close the chapter on him, in a sense, with the collective. And I think this is the way you say goodbye. You give him the send-off. I was like, yo, so we just gonna give a long overcoat with the hood? I mean, I get it. It works. I get it. Also, let me address this real quick. I'm looking in the chat room. Watching me look up. I'm looking at the chat that's going on. Everybody's chatting. It's a lot of people there. It's a lot of stuff. I want to get to everybody when I break all this down. Y'all already know how I do. Super chats, I'll acknowledge you right then and there. You won't wait. Boom, you're on. I'm going to acknowledge something I keep seeing in the chat about the crossover. What is the crossover for next year? There is not a crossover anymore for a while. This will be the last crossover we have for a couple of years. Now, I'm not going to say 3, 4, or 5, but this will be a couple of years of a crossover. So we've built up every single crossover to this gigantic Crisis on Infinite Earths. This was the culmination. Sort of like the same culmination, I hate to bring it up, that we've got in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everything led up to Avengers Endgame. This is your Endgame. And so now we have the heroes who will go about their separate lives, in a sense, given the fact everybody's on one collective Earth now, which makes it interesting because now we don't have to have these gigantic crossovers. We can have smaller crossovers. So now in Freeland, you can have a Barry Allen come in, or you can have a Jefferson Pierce go to Central City. You'll get the world's finest more fluidly now with Supergirl and Batwoman. You'll have Superman, which again, remember, they just announced today that Superman and Lois have their full series, and as you saw in the final scenes, that Superman now has two boys. So you have the two sons. It's going to be very interesting. Again, all of the shows had been renewed, minus Arrow, because we know this is the final season. But you have Batwoman getting her second season, which, by the way, I told everybody, no matter how we feel about this show, and I know I've been a very, very big person that's adamantly against it. Let's just say that. I knew it was getting a season 2. There was no doubt about it. So that would get a season 2. Supergirl season 6, I believe it is. Legends 6, Flash 7, Black Lightning 4. So everybody gets their next seasons, and now you get to see more, and it gets to add extra elements to the stories. Whereas this is interesting, especially from one show in particular, Black Lightning, how everything has been centralized in Freeland. There has been nothing else of the outside world, maybe Markovia, but as far as heroes, it's just Black Lightning, Thunder, and Lightning. And now you have this whole new road of a whole bunch of new heroes coming in. You can eventually have John Jones come into Freeland, and the discussion of being a black man in Freeland, discussions they have like that again. The fact that you have, again, World's Finest, you have with the Legends. Now, it didn't officially happen in this episode. I'm thinking when we get the comeback of the Return of Legends next Tuesday, you'll get the Ryan Choi becoming a part of the Legends, to where Ray steps down, or either Ray is unfortunately killed. We don't know what will happen again. Another big thing that happened in a crossover I definitely wanted to bring up is at the end when we saw the president talking, Diggle has his daughter again and his son. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how the two of those play out, because now we see where it goes for Green Arrow and the Canaries, where the backdoor pilot is the next episode of Arrow. So you're going to get that. Let me see. I see some of this. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm ready for the spoilers. Give them to me. Okay. Shouts out to Eon001 in the chat who said that. Listen, if you just tuned into this, I'm going to give you all spoilers from everything that happened. So if you have not seen it, you want to wait till later, this will be on the channel here, so you can always come back to it. Diggle and his daughters. The fact that you're seeing how the worlds play off now. To the heroes, the ones who were involved in the crisis, they know what everything was. To the outside world at large, they have no idea. To them, this was an everyday thing. And shouts out to having Marv Wolfman as the cameo. That was so dope. So dope. People have been talking about, like they've been saying for the longest, that this crisis crossover would be the first time they are openly acknowledged as the Justice League, which they did not give them the name for it in this crossover. I thought they would. Of course, we've seen the decommissioned Star Labs building before in like season 2 of The Flash. Let me see. I got some things in here. Let me go share this on your social media accounts, everyone. Tweet it out, spread the word. Let me open it up so I can show that to people. Please share that. Jay, I will be bugging your ass tomorrow after I actually go watch it and click that thumbs like. I thought Doom Patrol and the same Earth were on the same. Doom Patrol and Titans were on the same Earth. I'm gonna get to that because I definitely want to bring that up. I think that's a simple flub. I don't think we should take much account into that, but I'll get into that later. But all these things that are gonna open up now from this. One of the things I liked was, they brought back Bebo. They brought back Bebo, man. I didn't think that Bebo was going to be a thing again, but I mean, it's a Legends thing, but I didn't think a gigantic Bebo would be a thing, but that's what it was. Let me get out from this crossover screen with the two. Let me go back to just me. There we go. Transition. Bam. There we go. So I liked it. I liked the way they utilized Bebo and the fact they acknowledged that, hey, the only way Bebo could be formed was with the 6 totems. They did that and it worked. They made sure not to leave anything open, if you will. I have a respect for what the writers did for all 5 shows for this. All 6, actually, because you have to include a couple of the writers from Black Lightning. The fact that they were able to take this gigantic thing and put it together and make it work and make it meld together well. And again, leave the door open for future things. I'm going to go into some of my notes. The fact that I have to say, John Cryer as Lex Luthor has really grown on me more than what I thought he would. When I heard the announcement he was Luthor, I was like, okay, this can be dope. I saw a couple episodes. I was like, cool, I'm with this. And then after a while, I was like, I don't get it. But the way they played Lex in this crossover, and especially towards the end with him using the Book of Destiny to get himself abilities, him actually being a Paragon and not having it where he was a Paragon for a moment, then swap back out with Superman and things like that, to have it actually be the thing, him being the Paragon of Truth for a reason, it worked. It worked. I like that. The DEO now being a Luthor Corps subsidiary, I think will play great going into this season for the remainder of the season for Supergirl. I think that is going to be amazing, seeing that. What else was there? I love on this Legends episode how there are always drops about crossovers. It is so meta the way they talk about the crossovers. You gotta love it. How you have Nate telling Sarah, you just got shanghaied into another crossover. And hearing Ava talk about it. And then even Renee going, is this what all the crossovers are like? Because he's really not featured in the crossovers. So to have that, this is kind of dope. I like the way they keep playing on all this. It stays meta. Now, let's get into some of the things we saw towards the end of the whole thing, and that was the Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, Titans. I'll admit, seeing Swamp Thing for me was the biggest shock more than anything else. And I understand we talked about how they said Doom Patrol was on Earth 19 and Swamp Thing was on Earth 9 or something like that. That was what I wrote. Let me make sure. What did I do? Oh, Doom Patrol's on Earth 21 and Titans on Earth 9. Again, I think we take that for a grain of salt. That was just a quick type in, put up thing. We know for a fact these two are in the same universe. We know it. If you watch them on the DC universe, you know they're in the same world. Swamp Thing, even though it was there, I don't really know. I don't know for sure. So it might be. But granted, ain't no show around anymore, so it is what it is. But to see Stargirl and the JSA in Earth 12. Now, they said this was how you were going to introduce Courtney Whitmore into the whole Arrowverse, and they did. Again, when it came to these cameos, people had to remember that every cameo was not going to be this fully developed, full of substance cameo, whereas they were going to have lines and a pivotal role and an essential part of this, because it was way too many people. Way too many. And I understand we would love to have seen this gigantic scene with the Doom Patrol, Titans, Swamp Thing, Stargirl and the JSA, all of the members of all of the teams collectively together, Superman, everybody from everywhere just collected together to be one big part. I would have loved to have seen that, but I think, you logistic wise, you can't do it because of scheduling. That takes a lot to schedule that. Financially, that would be just as not equal, if not more, than the amount of the most largest scene we saw in the MCU with all the heroes together for Avengers Endgame. So I think it didn't work, but what we got did work. There's so much questions. I'm trying to stay to the camera and look at the chat because there's so much going. I see my name highlighted on something, but again, I'm trying to catch everything. So to see certain things, super chats and whatnot, and I'll get to you guys in a second. I love the fact we still go to this now because of Ray Palmer being oblivious almost to everything in this Legends episode. How Ray Palmer being oblivious to this in this Legends episode, how he's having fun. He's taking pictures, taking selfies with the giant Bebo. How you got Rory doing the book signing. All of this was just great. Everything they did well. I think I'm going to go. It's so much going in here. I'm going to try to go through all these questions. So y'all really got to bear with me, okay? I'm going to go through some of these questions. Here's one I saw from Zeno Hour. It says, so are the Wonder Twins the next CW show? As of now, not sure. Not really sure. Have not heard anything about it. unless it is something set to be. I saw somebody bring up Booster Gold. Now, Booster Gold was set to be a movie that Greg Berlanti was writing. I have not heard if it's been canceled, taken off the shelf, or postponed, but I know that was something he was writing, and it was going to be a movie within the DC film universe. I don't know if it's the same continuity right now, but I know it's supposed to live in that world, so I can't be honest with that. Gleek, to see the thing with Gleek, I think I lost it because, of course, like everybody's been mentioning in the chat, hearing the old school Justice League theme, I just want to hear a voice one time go, meanwhile, back in the Hall of Justice. That's all I need to hear, and I'm excited. That's all. I'm excited. Let me see. What's something else? Somebody says, Tracy Lee says, I thought Black Lightning would be a major part of the Crisis, and that wasn't the case, shaking my head. Well, he was, but you got to remember, Black Lightning was utilized heavily in the third episode, which was where they needed him. You can't make him a serious focal point because when it comes to this crossover, all of these heroes are the ones that have been established. These are the heroes that we've come to know. Whereas Black Lightning in this world, in this version of the Arrowverse, is relatively new. He's the new kid on the block. He's not that, he's not the Batwoman who they saw last year, but then they come back to. You know what I'm saying? He's not the versions of Arrow and whatnot. So I think that's how it works. So I get that people wanted to see more of Jefferson Pierce in this. I myself did as well. But I understand how he fell in line with this. And the way they utilized him worked perfectly. The in conversation he had with Barry in the hall was like, yo, I never met Oliver. Seemed like a good dude. Showing him the seats in the chair like, yo, you should have led with that. It still opens the door for him to be more of a part of this going forward. So when we do have that next collective crossover, he's more involved. If that makes sense. Because now he's not just a new dude who most people, the average person who watches the Arrowverse, a lot of people didn't know of Black Lightning as a show. Some people may have been like, oh, this doesn't seem like it's for me. Its themes are something I don't choose to follow. Its tonality is not something I'm rocking with. But now, post-crossover, it will be. If you didn't check the ratings, the episode before episode 3 of the crossover was the highest rated episode of Black Lightning in history because more eyes were on this show seeing how it would bleed right into the crossover. And so now post crossover, when Black Lightning comes back on the 20th, there will be eyes seeing, okay, so what happens to his world in Freeland? You saw a little bit of a tease if you saw some of the end of it, like you have Gamby, wait, you both went to alternate universes and things like that. So it'll open the door for him to be utilized more. Again, this crossover opened the door for a lot of things to happen further. It's just certain things that are going to pan out. I saw a question up here about Arrow, and I'm trying to find it because I wanted to address that about how I'm curious as to what the series finale of Arrow will be about. That's what Eric Z wrote. Well, so we know Oliver is deceased. We know Arrow has 10 episodes this year, I'm not mistaken. I was under the impression for the longest it was only going to be 8 because of the season, and I guess I just kept hearing the season number in my head. But I'm assuming, so the next episode is the backdoor pilot to Green Arrow and the Canaries. Basically, Mia is now back in the future version of Star City, whatever that looks like now post-crisis. Because remember, her world will be affected by what the events of this were. So now how her world looks going forward. And if you've seen some of the stills that came out, she now has on her hood. She has on her dad's mask. So things like that will play going forward. I believe we'll see an official funeral for him. Felicity will be coming back for the finale. So you get the backdoor pilot, and I believe that would be 2 episodes afterwards, if I'm not mistaken, and my count is correct on that. To see, well, we know what happens with Dinah. We know what happens with Renee. We know kind of what happens with Diggle's kids now that things change because there is no Connor anymore. Because now he has the 2 kids. Now, the question will be, does he still adopt Connor going forward? He now has Sarah and JJ. Does he adopt Connor, being Diggle and Lila? So it's going to be interesting to see where those go. But I don't think we'll see Diggle anymore come the end of the season, end of the show, unless we bring him in for an occasional cameo and crossover because he can be utilized. Lila plays a role, and I think because of Lila, you can keep Diggle in too, because Lila is the director of Argus, and Argus is an entity that exists throughout the universe. So that's that. Ezra cameo was brilliant. I saw some people who didn't see Justice League, didn't care for his portrayal of Barry, get excited about the Flash movie. Of course you did. Everybody who, like I said, I was one of those people who were like, look, this Flash movie is not going to happen. This Flash movie is dead in the water. And you kept hearing different rumors like, okay, there's new writers, and then you knew officially Andy Muschietti is directing it. Christina Hobson, who wrote Birds of Prey, is writing it. This is going to happen. And then the rumors of, well, will Ezra Miller still be in the suit? And it's, yes, he's going to be in the suit. This officially solidifies that. So that's that. Let me see. I think this was Dune Tribe T says, I thought this was a great intro of Black Lightning to the Arrowverse fans that may have not checked out the show prior to the crossover. And then goes on to say, Jay, I really think Ollie's death is a swerve and him and Felicity get a happy ending. See, I want to agree with that. I really do. But I think the reason I can't is because the reason I can't directly agree with that him is being a swerve is I don't think we're going to see Stephen Amell back. I don't think we're going to see Stephen Amell back. He's now going to focus on Heels, his wrestling show on Stars, which you guys should definitely check that out if it gets picked all the way up. I'm hoping for it. You'll find out why later. I don't know if you're going to keep him there. Now, you can't. And then you had Felicity, who stepped away to go do Broadway, I believe it was. So now that Emily Beck Rickers is gone and you have Stephen Amell doing everything, I don't know. I understand the happy ending part. I get it, but we always knew that from the flash forwards, Oliver sacrificed himself for his children and his family. So I don't think you'll be able to get the happy ending part out of it. I don't think you will. Somebody said, can we get a version of Lobo on Supergirl? The writers have been trying to use him for years. And then Doom Tribe follows up, says, Krypton is the one show that got no love. So here is the thing. So Krypton was gonna get love. Krypton was going to get love on this show. The scene that everybody lost their mind with in episode 3 with Lucifer's bar, initially there were supposed to be members from Krypton on in that bar. And again, just a quick pan across, you see them, boom, that was it. So they tried to fuse it in because you had to use a prominent member of that show. You couldn't use, for lack of better words, Elida Zod or, someone else. You couldn't do all those different things. So there were members that were supposed to be involved, but scheduling conflicts happened. So they tried to give love to Krypton just so people understand. There were not any DC shows, movies that they deliberately tried to leave out, except I think the Adrian Padalecki Wonder Woman, which you don't blame them for leaving that out. If you saw that pilot, that never happened. Never happened. All right, let's go back to the chat. Jay, I hope we see more John Cryer and Superman in Lois series. Absolutely. And I want to see more Lex and Clark. You're absolutely going to see them in both. Because, again, if you listen to Supergirl, Argo is now on that Earth. So you'll definitely see him involved with that. Jay, there are rumors that Matt Ryan will be appearing. Eggsy says, Jay, there are rumors that Matt Ryan will be appearing in the upcoming 5th season of Lucifer. I will keep quiet on that. I know. So here's the problem. There's some spoilers I can give you guys from what we've seen, and there's stuff that I know going forward, but I can't tell y'all. So I'm going to keep it quiet. I'll leave you to come to your own assumptions and summations from there. IMAX. So is Lex now a good guy in the TV-verse? I think Lex Luthor is always Lex Luthor. I don't think Lex Luthor is a good guy. I think Lex Luthor is Lex Luthor. I play the world. I make everybody believe I'm the good guy, when in all actuality, I'm still the evil genius behind it. And it's never, it's never been a thing. It's never been a real, true, honest thing. Yeah, Lex Luthor wins the Nobel Peace Prize. That was a great way to do that because, again, you make this world believe now that everybody trusts a Luthor. What's going on until this Luthor is found out to be swerving everybody. So Adam Grunther says, do you think this is going to tie into the Flashpoint movie because of that cameo? There's a possibility. But I strongly doubt it. It is easier. I wouldn't say easier. It's easier to negotiate having your movie star cameo in the TV series for a hot second, because all it does is it helps the movie. You get what I'm saying? Having Ezra Miller as that cameo didn't do anything more than build up the anticipation for the Flash film. We've been hearing all these things about the Flash film. Shouts out to my buddies over at that hashtag show who got the interview with Andy Muschietti, who talked about how he was going to have a somewhat iteration of Flashpoint within that storyline. All that cameo does is amp up the hype for the Flash movie. It doesn't hurt it at all. Now, the same can be said, would seeing Grant Gustin in the Flash movie help or hurt the Flash? It wouldn't hurt it, but I don't think you necessarily need it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you need it because you have the Flash getting ready to go into season 7. That speaks volumes. A show that is not getting eyes is not going into season 7. So I don't think that you will see him there. I don't even know if you'll reference it because, again, there's so much you can reference in this Flash movie with this Flashpoint elements because, remember, we played that whole scene in BVS where he comes from the future to tell Bruce that Lois is the key. You can do this. So it's so many different ways of how you could do it. Let me see. I do hope Superman gets a power. NeoStar9 says, I do hope Superman gets a power boost out of this. They've made him weak when it wasn't. They've made him too weak when it wasn't necessary. If you're talking about the TV version of Superman, I don't think they made him too weak. And this is exactly why I say this. I've said it on the Mad Titan podcast. I said it when I was on Collider Heroes. Any show that's had me, I've given my thoughts on this. He's not made to be too weak. They've made Superman to the point where he's strong, but Kara's stronger. Because you want to push Kara more than you do Clark. You don't need to push Superman. Superman has already been pushed on his own. You're pushing Supergirl as her own entity. So you're not necessarily making him weak and lower and lesser than, if that makes sense. You're not making him seem like a weakling. You're just doing what you need to do to boost up Supergirl. And clearly it's worked with Supergirl about to go into season 6. And again, go back to it. Season 1 of Supergirl on CBS. I was like, why in God's name is this happening? All of the storylines you're taking out of season 1 are literally Superman stories. Let her have her own stories. Let her build and let her grow and let her develop. Season 2, when it got to the CW, it took some time to get its legs up under it. But after it got its legs up under it, then it was like, cool, it started rolling. It has become, for lack of better words, niche, but also it has those moments where you're like, I'm here for this. And also, out of all of the Arrowverse shows, Supergirl holds the most progressive views of the world within its show. Every Arrowverse show will maintain progressive views, just so you know. Supergirl within itself does it the strongest. So I don't think you're making Superman weak, because when you need him, he's there. But also, you make sure you recognize that Kara's stronger. You've even had Clark say it, that Kara is stronger than him. So it's literally pushed the star of the show. Now, when it comes to Batwoman, that's a whole different ball game. I could spend about 35 minutes talking about that alone. And some people would be upset. Some people would agree with me because they'd be like, yo, you are absolutely right. Like, I've said this about Batwoman. Ruby Rose is great as a supporting role. What you see of Kate Kane and Batwoman in these crossovers is great. It is just when it comes to the Batwoman solo show, it's hard to digest her and believe her. So, we'll see what happens with that. Eon001 says, still buzzing over Ezra. Wow, I think I am. GK Bot 18 says, why do you think there was no Reverse Flash? Did you really need him? I don't think you needed him. Because you're not using Matt Leisher for that. You're going to use Tom Cavanaugh, and you have Tom Cavanaugh as Harrison Nash Wells. So I think that's really reason. I don't think it's anything elaborate, anything where it's some major reason not. This person who's playing the character is already utilized. And instead of, you already have, again, this multitude of characters. You got so many different people. So there's no need or reason to have that one person have to play these multiple characters when we know what his story is and what he's doing is that one character, if that makes sense. Zeno Hour, could the sons be this Earth's John Kent and Connor Kent? I don't know about Connor. I know John is there. I know John is for a fact. Jonathan's a fact. I don't know if they'll do Connor, but we'll just have to find out when it comes to Superman and Lois. Corey Richmond says, so is there a multiverse now? As of now, no. There's no multiverse. It's one universe. One universe, one world. That is why the thing is the end of the world. In the comic books, it all becomes one Earth. So they did it the right way. They followed true to that. Whereas this whole culmination, the culmination of this whole event was now you have one world where your Star City is in the same world as your national city, with the same world as Gotham and Central City and everywhere else. So all of those are together. That works. That definitely works. So no, as of right now, no multiverse. No multiverse. Eric Z says, Jay, what do you think Arrowverse Phase 2 will go with the next crossover? Smaller or bigger plot? I don't know if you were here earlier, Eric, but I don't think we're going to get a crossover for a couple of years. I think we're going to get smaller. I think when you say it, yes, smaller. I don't think we're going to get this gigantic team up. I don't think we're going to get a Justice League team up. I think we're going to get small, we're going to get a World's Finest. We're going to get a Batwoman and a Supergirl. You're going to get a more of a Flash and Black Lightning. You're going to get things like that. But I don't think you're going to have a massive crossover, because now you get ready to have Green Arrow and the Canaries, and that's in the future. So then the only person that would play well with Green Arrow and the Canaries will be the Legends. And I can see that working somehow, some way. I'm not sure if that's going to go. They showed the other universes in the montage at the end. Yeah, but what they were saying was, they show Stargirl as a new Earth 2. I don't believe it's a new Earth 2. I don't know. It's confused. It's confusing. It's like in the beginning, because he said in the beginning, it was all these universes. So I think that now they were there and they're together. It's so weird. So someone said there is the multiverse. I'm not sure. I mean, I hope you're right. I'm not saying I'm right and I'm not saying I'm wrong. We got to find out. Again, Earth Prime just combined 38 and Black Light. Right, they combined the Earths together as to one Earth. I don't know if we're going to be this gigantic multiverse. I don't know if we're going to do that for a while. Let's say that. Crossovers and multiverses. So what was at the end? Showed it. You know what? Sometimes it just gets confused. Earth 1 combined Earth Prime with the multiverse. Exactly. That's what I think it was. All right. Again, man, listen. They did so. Again, the reason I don't know how much to take out of that, and this is me. Again, I know a lot of people go to me for a lot of things when it comes to this, because we know that Doom Patrol and Titans, Swamp Thing. That's not a word no more. Doom Patrol and Titans are the same world. Now, the timeline is a whole different ball game. The timeline is because there's a different Doom Patrol with the Chief and a couple members that you see on episode 4, season 1 of Titans than what you get in the whole season of Doom Patrol. Which, by the way, if you have not watched Doom Patrol, I highly recommend you go check it out. It's on the DC Universe. Yo, get a free week, binge it all out, be good with it. It's not a bad thing at all. The show gets better and better every single week. It gets better and better. So, Tim Brown just tuning in. Hey, Jay, what's happening, Tim? Appreciate you. But yeah, Doom Patrol is a show. I think, again, I don't know, because I know they did the numbering, and, you had Earth 19, Earth 21, Earth 9, and it got kind of confusing, and everybody was like, boom. Jay, is Ezra Flash mentioned Victor in the crossovers? I hope that Ray Fisher will stay and appear in the Flash movie. Look, there has been no open word about Ray Fisher as Cyborg. Again, he can say Victor. That doesn't mean that they will have to keep. He doesn't have to say, Victor directly to make sure it's still Ray Fisher. You know what I'm saying? Victor Stone is Victor Stone. We all want it to be Ray Fisher as Victor Stone, but I think just saying Victor is one thing. It opens up hope. It definitely opens up hope. There's so many questions. Please drop for the super chat. I don't want to sound like that dude, but that's the way I'm gonna keep up with it, because it's so much and it's scrolling, and I'm so grateful for everybody interacting with this. I am extremely grateful. But again, back to the Cyborg element. Who knows? Would I like to see Ray Fisher still as Cyborg? Yes. Am I mad that the Cyborg movie got taken off the shelf? Absolutely. Am I mad that the full story of Cyborg was not flushed out in Justice League? Absolutely. Am I going to go further than that? Hell no, because I know what follows it, and so we're going to move on. Cool. Let's see. How do you think, Ezra Z says, Jay, how do you think HBO Max in the DC Universe situation will play out in 2020? Well, We already know HBO Max is coming. I think it drops in March. And I think DC Universe will still be the same. Now, if you get HBO Max, you'll be able to get DC Universe on its own. I guess there's some people who gonna want both. But I can see very slowly, not slowly, sooner rather than later. Excuse me. So let me take a sip of my booch. I need my kombucha. My mouth is over here dry. Give me a second. How do I drop for the super chat? It'll say this thing that says super chat. It's a $ thing. You go through that and we'll figure that out. All right. I think before the end of 2020, 2021 at the latest, DC Universe will fully be absorbed into HBO Max. Why it wasn't absorbed in the beginning, I have no idea. I think, look, it's a Warner Brothers cash grab. All it is. You might as well just absorb it. Now, I get it. Everybody doesn't want everything that's on HBO Max. I get it. And then some people who don't want DC Universe. But at the same time, forcing people to pay for two, well, you won't, because if you get HBO Max, you'll get DC Universe. Something like that. It's confusing. It's so confusing. What was that Earth with the kids playing in the yard? Are you talking about the Doom Patrol? Are you talking about the Doom Patrol that looked like a bunch of kids playing in the front yard? Because I think that was a thing. Yolannis Nunn says, any news on the Green Lantern series we given the Green Lantern cameo thing? Any news on the Green Lantern series given the Green Lantern cameo thing? Excuse me. So, all I know is of right now, from what I've heard, the series is happening. The series has been in the works. I think within the next month or so, next couple of months, we'll find out exactly which lanterns they're going to focus on. Lantern or lanterns. If they're going to do a duo, if they're going to do a single, because we still have the Green Lantern Corps movie in development. So, I know we're playing that whole two different universes again, television and film. But again, you just saw it in the crossover. You can bring the two together. The lanterns, as long as you're using different lanterns, you can do both. Again, there's like 20 different damn lanterns we know of planet Earth. So, it's a possibility. But I think the cameo was to say, hey, the Green Lantern things exist. And also probably say, hey, that's Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie. Granted, he shot himself in Deadpool for doing that movie. I think that's what that was. Black Lightning dropped Supergirl and Vixen in the first season. Hope we actually see some cameos. Well, I know that in Black Lightning, a lot of superheroes that we heard of were just things of comic books. He dropped the names as far as those were like Easter egg gem references to the characters. I don't think it was just to them directly, if that makes sense. It was to the characters themselves. Those were like, hey, little Vixen, haha, see, Vixen's a DC character. You're trying to be Supergirl or something, a Supergirl, haha, that's a DC character, boom. Isaiah Whittington says, I heard a rumor that John Jones will join the Legends. Any truth to that? I haven't heard anything about it. I'll do some checking up on it. Anything I have, I will drop in the next couple episodes of the Mad Titan podcast, which as soon as I'm done doing this, as soon as I'm off air doing this, I will jump in and record that episode. If you want to get your questions into the Mad Titan podcast where you can have your questions heard, so you like call and leave a voicemail, it's 818-276-6947 818-276-6947. If you call me, you leave a clear, well understood call, I'll play it on the air with the episode and answer your question there. Or you can email me, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com. I'm doing a lot of talking. Okay, let me see, give me 1 second. All right. Eric Z says, Jay, you know who I think deserves a spinoff in the Arrowverse after this crossover? It's the Manhunter. It's Manhunter. The actor who plays him is so good and so much mythology there. Yes, David Harewood is freaking phenomenal. I think the problem I have with the Martian Manhunter is budget. Here's why I say that. You don't see much of the Martian Manhunter anymore. You'll see more Jean Johns. You don't see much. You don't see much of the alien form, and of course the CGI takes to do the transformations, the phasing, and whatnot. And I understand that budgetary issues because you have to budget your main character flying and using heat vision or ice breath, or your bad guys doing a bunch of things. So it's it's hard to give him his own show because the budget you would need to have to do that just for the visual effects alone are astronomical. I know that the budget for Legends is huge. Flash is ridiculous because of a speedster. So that's the thing. Milton Weber says, will we ever see Wally West again? Now, Kenyon Lonsdale is supposed to come back in The Flash in this season. So you are supposed to see him again before the end of the season of The Flash, which, by the way, thank God we don't have to deal with blood work right now. I thought he was terrible. I thought it was horrible. Horrible. Again, shout out to everybody asking questions and interacting here. I'm trying to see anything. I don't see if I have any super chats. I'm going to scroll up real quick so I make sure I did not miss anybody in the super chats. Blah, 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 this, a real Legion of Doom could be the next crossover. You know what? Zeno Hour says this earlier. A real Legion of Doom could be the next crossover. We were slowly but surely getting that Legion of Doom, and I was so into it. I liked the Reverse Flash, Damian Dark, Malcolm Merlin version of the Legion of Doom they had because it could have opened the door to adding Lex Luthor and some other things. I don't know. I just really like that. Kate, let me help you. Wait, what? Kate, let net help you. Okay. Good evening from Pine Tops, North Carolina. Good evening. Appreciate you from checking in. I like seeing Human John in the Manhunter outfit. I'm fine with that. Ted 2 of 25. I'm completely fine with that. And I wish we would see that more. If you just gonna put him in the suit, put him in the suit. He doesn't have to have the head. Excuse me. Back to the booch. I know it sounds bougie as hell. Like, yo, back to this booch. Yeah, you don't always have to have the head. I get it. And sometimes the actor may not want to put the head on. That's another thing, too. When it comes to a lot of prosthetics and costumes and makeup and stuff, it is on the actor as well. Because that is a process, going through that, putting all that on. Especially that. Like, you got to get the prosthetics for the head. You got to have the green. It's got to have the eyes. You got to have all these different things. So I kind of understand that. But yeah, put him in the suit. Just have him in the suit. What is the big deal? I think there's a big loss behind that. The budget would definitely have to be much higher because nobody wants that TV CGI in theater. Yeah. Eon001 says, Suicide Squad show would be great on the streaming platform. Fully R-rated show. Well, yeah, but we got movies. So, and I agree. It is definitely would be nice. It would be definitely nice to see it, but because we got that movie, you will never get the show. You will never get that show. Doom Tribe T says, Jay, the FX seemed better in tonight's episode. Do you think the break gave them time to improve things? Well, also you have to look again. It goes back to each episode. I don't think it was saying time to improve it. Each team, listen. All 5 of these episodes were considered Crisis on Infinite Earths, but every single show was actually an episode of each individual show, each respective show. Again, the first episode was Supergirl's episode. That's why the graphics and the effects look the way they did. That's the Supergirl team. The second episode, the Batwoman team. And it speaks volumes, Jesus, because we still had to talk about Alice. Yep, Lord. Yep, that happened. But then the third episode was The Flash, and that's why everybody was like, at that point, it was like, this is the best episode because it's the Flash's team's episode. So what you get in a normal episode of The Flash, with the writing, the structure, the visual effects, and everything, you got that. This episode, the fourth episode, was Arrow. It is what Arrow is, and you got that. They had to add extra. They had to add extra for that because of the visual effects with the Spectre and even the Anti-Monitor and everything with the Shadow Demons. But it still worked. And then the Legends episode was the Legends because that's what the Legends is. Again, a giant Bebo. I'm glad I didn't see a giant Bebo on the Arrow episode. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind seeing it on the Flash episode or stomping out Gotham City, quite honestly. But you got that. So I don't think it's the break. It is more so the individual elements of each show. That helps that out. Could the Flash or Legends be heading toward their final season after the close of the Crisis? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think as of right now, as long as the ratings stay steady for both shows, Flash can go the amount of episodes Arrow was going, and then some. And Legends, because I love Legends. First of all, Legends is a show that doesn't have any rules it has to adhere to. It doesn't have a canon per se. It doesn't have to say, well, this character needs to do that, and this character needs to be that way, and this storyline has to go that. They have fun. They have so much fun. And by the way, I've had the pleasure and the honor of hanging out with many different members of the cast of Legends of Tomorrow. If you have not seen the video from FanX Salt Lake Comic Con when I got Katie Lotz to breakdance, check that out. Brandon Routh, freaking great dude. Macy Richardson Sellers, fun lady as well. And got to hang out with Oscar Chow. All these cats, super cool people. I wish them nothing but success with that show. The Flash as well. Like, it's one of the best shows going. You know, next to Black Lightning for me. Corey Richmond. Is the promo for the Deathstroke series on CW worth checking out? Yes. Yes. As someone who is a die-hard Deathstroke fan, yes. Check it out. Please do. There should be a Secret Six show. Legends lost me. I think they're wasting Constantine. Now, this is a good one. I don't know if they're wasting him. I'm glad to see him be utilized because he could be wasted and not have anything. Remember, he had the show and NBC didn't know what to do with it. And then they tried to... They were going to supposedly revive it, but then you brought him in, you brought Matt Ryan into the Legends, and now you still get that fun you had with him before, and it still has that buzz and that vibe. So I don't have a problem with it. I think he's growing more as a part of the cast, and what they're utilizing him for. I think the whole angle with Astra being now, Astra being the main bad guy, I think this season, because it's the return of it, will be more focused on Constantine. Randy Constance, lunch on me. Cop you a fo from Wendy's. Well, at $3.99, I'm not copping anything because you didn't include tax. I'm just kidding, but I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate the super chat for sure. Thank you, Randy Constance. Eric ZJ, do you know if they had Arrow tried to get Manu Bennett back for the final season? They have tried to get Manu Bennett back a couple of times. I think finance and money has been an issue, budgetary issues, money on both ends. So I think that is why we did not get him back. And I'll be honest, that you brought him up. I thought that Manu Bennett was arguably the best Deathstroke we've seen. And I didn't know if I wanted to give Esai Morales a chance on Titans. But he got so cerebral and so deep, I was like, yo, this rocks. I rocks with it. But I would have loved to see Manu Bennett back in Arrow. Yeah. Let's see. Caden said, had a Doctor of Thugonomics at WrestleMania 35 type pop when Ezra showed up. All right. I know a lot of you all who watched it, this was your first time seeing it. Let me tell you my experience when I first saw this thing. I had the honor of being in Mark Guggenheim's house to watch episode 3 of Crisis. Now, I'd already seen the East Coast feed and was here already doing the Aftershow. And I got invited to come over, so I was like, cool. I get to talk and, I'm an actor, I'm a stand-up, I get to meet everybody, people I'm a fan of, and get to know new people. And so there was a food truck, so we all went out there. I went and got some chicken shawarma. I told you I'm vegan-ish. The ish means chicken's delicious. So I got some chicken shawarma, and I was coming back in the house, and when I step back in, I have my plate, and I look at the TV, and I see Ezra Miller and Grant Gustin, and I'm like... And it took everything in my power not to drop my plate. And everybody else was sitting there. I'm looking at everybody else already looking at the TV. I'm looking at the TV like, huh? And I'm like, this ain't real. This couldn't be happening. And Mark Guggenheim was like, I don't know how that got there. And it was like, hey, nobody saw anything. And I was like, did I really just see that? And it was just so mind-blowing to see that. And to know that was able to make happen. And to hear the process that went behind it. It was real crazy. It was real crazy. I got a few more minutes on here. I want to talk. I want to leave the floor open. So whatever you got in the questions, in the chat, please go ahead and throw them at your boy. Let's see. Justice League Dark on streaming, man. I want to shout out Wendy's near me. There's a Wendy's near me, but I can't eat red meat anymore. Now that I can't eat red meat, my life has changed. It's just changed completely. I got so many text messages and everything coming through my phone right now. I'll deal with all that later. Jay, what do you think of that latest Birds of Prey trailer? It looks so wacky and fun like a new animated series. Yes, it does. And I know people were talking about the when Kathy Ann said that it was like in an alternate timeline. And I know at first when I heard it, I was like, wait, what? But you got to remember what they mean by alternate timeline is Harley Quinn is an unreliable narrator. Harley Quinn is batshit crazy. So Harley's stories, the way Harley tells them, are not necessarily how the story happened. And the one way you will know that is if you watch the Harley Quinn animated series on the DC Universe. So check that out, you will know. Two Flashes made my day. I think it made everybody's. Jay, can we talk? Who will Cena play in the new Suicide Squad movie? I think it is already said that he is playing Peacemaker, if I'm not mistaken. Allow me a moment to look that up. I thought that's who it was. I'm going to pull it up real quick. Jesus Christ. Hey, I am actually live, y'all. Y'all can come in here. Peacemaker. Yeah, he's Peacemaker. Yeah, John Cena, Suicide Squad 2. Yeah, he's Peacemaker. Yeah, he's Peacemaker. I don't know why anybody thought otherwise. He's Peacemaker. Cool. Red meat is trash. I'm on seafood and vegetables, chicken occasionally. Man, listen, let me tell you something. So, Ted, thank you for Ted225. Thank you for the super chat. He says, do you think Jonah Hex could get his own show, even if it's a 30-minute web series? That's a good question. I don't think he could, and here's why. The movie wasn't received well, and Jonah Hex is a very niche character that only certain people know. I don't think that many people would tune into a Jonah Hex show. I don't know if it would really resonate with people with them enough to put the budget behind it. Yeah, the actor to play Jonah Hex on Legends is great, but I don't think it's enough to warrant a full show. I don't think it is. Again, thank you for your super chat, Ted. I appreciate it. Who is replacing Will again in Suicide Squad? Bizzle Truth. I don't think anybody is. There is no Deadshot. Idris Elba is somebody else. He's Bronze Tiger. Idris Elba is Bronze Tiger. So there is no replacing Deadshot. This way the door is open for him to come back. That's how you do that. Daryl LaFille says, it would be great if Black Lightning could have Mantis on it. Let me tell you something. I love Mantis. Yo, if you don't know the show, Carl Lumbly, who you've seen in Supergirl if you watched, he's played Myron. I don't know what they call Myron. It's Myron, okay? There's a nigga named Myron Jones. He played a engineer scientist who was paralyzed, who created an exosuit to help him walk, but also gave him kind of abilities when he did it, and he became a superhero. So it's a dope show. Check out Mantis. Please do. Yeah, Kennedy. I don't think anyone is replacing Will. Elvis playing. Yeah, he's Bronze Tiger. He's Ben Turner, a.k.a. Bronze Tiger. He's playing the character that Michael Jai White is playing in the Arrowverse. So that's who he is playing. He's playing Ben Turner. All right, need that big winning. They can make a Justice League Dark show with Matt Ryan or something. That was more so rumored to be a movie, Xeno Hour, that they were supposed to do a Justice League Dark movie. That was not, wasn't one of those like, yo, let's do this. They were supposed to do it, so Kung Fu Hustle like that, bruh, Mantis. Yo, Mantis was so dope. So if you watch the reviews I do with Winston A. Marshall, I remember one time we were talking about Carl Lumbly, and come to find out that one of Winston's best friends is Carl's son. And I was like, nigga, what? Pardon the N-word use. I know some of y'all aren't of the melanated persuasion. But I was like, what? I was like, I need to get him on this show. Somehow, some way. He was like, yeah, that's his dad. I've been knowing his dad for years. I'm like, you saying this calmly. And his father is Mantis. Like, do you understand what type of legacy and legend it is? He's a black hero that most people don't appreciate. I went through a whole thing about that. And he was like, calm down. Like, do you think... Eric Z said he asked me two questions, so I'll get to the first one. Jay, Ana de Armas says, Zatanna thoughts? I'm here for it. Let's go. I'm waiting to see a Zatanna in a movie. I'm waiting on it. Or a TV show. And then says, do you think Birds of Prey will connect to Suicide Squad 2 since Margot Robbie will be in both? How do you think they will handle this? Absolutely. Absolutely. I also think, because of that trailer, one of the trailers, I do not think that she kills the Joker. You know how everybody was like, yo, she kills the Joker, she's in the van, in the trailer, and like, it blows, she lets you go into the acne chemicals, and it blows up in these sparkle rainbows. I do not think that is. I do not think that is the case. I think Harley Quinn imagines she kills the Joker. I don't think that She does. So I think she's still. It'll connect both movies. It'll connect. Cats don't understand about Mantis, bruh. Oh, they have said he will play a new character. He's not. No, he's not Deadshot. I know that. Okay, yeah, it's Ben Turner. If Reddit is correct, he's Ben Turner. Yeah. Who's he even playing? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, he's Bronze Tiger. Why am I going? Wait. We got Black Panther, Bronze Tiger, stuff like that. We're not going to get a quality white hero. I am not going to respond to that because no, that sarcasm is not going to come through for the internet. I know you're joking. I get it. However, if a bunch of other people start seeing it, they're going to be like, what do you mean? Ain't no quality white heroes. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Listen, I'm getting ready to wrap this up. I've done my hour on here that I wanted to do with you guys. I want to first of all thank everyone who has been a part of this. You all have been great. Thank you guys for watching this. Again, this will be up on the channel for people to view later. Please continue to comment, even though we'll not be in the live chat. Please continue to comment. Please let me know your thoughts. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. The words are there. It says J Washington. All right. Make sure you're joining. If you have not done so, if you want to show your love and support, and you couldn't do so through the super chat, if you can't do any other way, join the Patreon. Join the Supervillain Squad on Patreon. Patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. I got my buddy. Hold on. I'm finna answer the phone. I'm finna be really ghetto. Hey man, I'm live streaming right now. So what do you want me to say while I'm on live stream? He says they still ain't ready. The West Coast has no idea what's coming. Yeah, if you ain't seen the West Coast feed yet, oh, people about to lose their mind. Oh yeah, the West Coast feed just started. Oh, this is about to be hilarious. The West Coast is about to lose their mind. But I'll hit you back once I'm done streaming. All right. Oh, yeah. So, again, join the Supervillain Squad on Patreon. Patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. Again, $1, $5. I don't have no crazy amounts. But if you do things like $10, $20 a month supporting more, I will make you part of these live streams. I will make you part of the podcast when I do that. That's how I'll show you how much appreciation. I'll have you on live with me. That's to show my appreciation. Not just say, hey, you great. Boom, you'll be there. Let me see. What else is there? That. Check out the Mad Titan podcast everywhere you get your podcasts from. I get you caught up on everything that's happening in the Marvel and DC live action and cinematic universes. I'm no bullshit, no games. When I tell y'all I'm the truth at what I do, I am the truth at it. I dropped so many gems and spoilers about the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover throughout the months that I was hearing stuff. I would sprinkle it in here and pepper it in there and say it like people wouldn't notice it, and then it would happen, and people were like, wait, didn't you say? Yes, I did. And so a lot of things I said came true, and I get a lot of great inside information, and I'm glad to share with my listeners and those who rock with me. And people be like, yo, how do you find out all this stuff? Like, $50 you can crash on the sofa. $50 you can be on a whole episode with me. Like, straight up, side by side. Shouts out to Keenan Wilkes. But, like, I've always had the information. It's like, these companies and these outlets, these writers, these cast members, they trust me because I rock with them as... I don't try to be a journalist. I'm a regular nerdy dude. I'm a black dude that has fun. I love what I talk about. And so I don't try to be this, hey, I'm trying to get a scoop for such and such. Fuck all the scoops. I just want to be for me. Now, if you say I can talk about it, but don't tell me where I got it from, I can do that. All that. So that's definitely what it is, all right? Thank you guys for rocking with me. I appreciate you. Oh, while you're here, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get my subscribers numbers up. Ever since the whole situation with Collider went down, I don't, I'm not a regular on, the YouTubes, so you have to go here. Kendall Day said, my words do not represent the thoughts of Jay Washington. There's a smart ass who has mad respect for the man. I appreciate you, Kendall. Trust me. I definitely understand and I appreciate it. But I definitely can use the subscribers. I was going to say stuff too fast. I could definitely use Jay. No BS. Jay was like 15 for 15 in predictions for Crisis. I was just good on it. But no, please subscribe. Click on the notification bell. I drop a bunch of stuff. I do trailer reactions because I'm like, fuck it. People want to see trailer reactions. I review certain movies. I got to actually do a review for Six Underground. I watched that movie like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, yo, I should do a review for it, but I haven't done it yet. So, and then I have the reviews for Harley Quinn, the animated series with Winston Marshall that are on here, and so many more. So please subscribe, all right? Thank you guys for watching this, man. Thank you guys for rocking with me throughout this crossover. I appreciate you all so much more more than you could possibly know. For me to love this so much, to say, hey, I'm going to spend my Wednesday, I'm going to watch these episodes, and I'm going to go live and talk to the people and interact with everyone who comes in on this chat. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. I will holler at you guys later. Till then, take care. I got to figure out all these stuff. Hold on. I got to have more. I got to get a mouse. I'm using my pad on my fingers, so it's like, go share this shit with Mark Bernard. Yeah, please share it with Kevin and Mark. I've been trying. Listen, before I go, how about that Mark Wolfman cameo? I said it was amazing. I'm sorry you came in late on the Ted. I talked about it earlier. It was phenomenal to see Marv Wolfman. I've been trying to get on Fat Man on Batman for the longest. I would love to talk this stuff with Kevin Smith and Mark Bernard. I don't know if I'm a big enough name to do so, but I'm hoping that if I can get enough buzz going, if somehow, some way, people can, let them know, hey, this is a dude who you definitely should talk to and have fun with on the air about. I've met them both. Mark's a good friend of mine. Kevin I met a couple of times. I would love to sit on that show with them, and I don't know if I'm the dude they'll allow to have it, but hopefully you all, the fans, the viewers, the listeners, can reach out to them and make them say, yo, you should have Jay Washington on, have Mr. Jay Washington on, and if you bug them enough, eventually I'll be on, so let's see what happens. I'll talk to y'all later, all right? Take care. I'm out of here. Oh, where did go the thing? I'm out of here. Peace. Oh.